So what have these items got in common? I've got a potato masher, a bowl, Tupperware cup, and a glass. Well, actually, these are some of the things I actually use to produce paintings. But before we get on to that, I'd like to invite you, with my potato masher, to subscribe to my channel. So I notice a lot of people are watching the videos, which is absolutely great. So thank you very much for that. But you're not subscribed. So if you don't subscribe, you're not going to get notifications of new videos, and you can keep in contact with me and find out when new content is coming out. So I'd hate you to miss on that. So please consider subscribing, give the old thumbs up to videos. That will really help me and the channel. So more about my potato masher in a moment. This is a painting I was producing a couple of months ago. Now it's quite a large, but largish for me. Most of the stuff I do is quite small. And this painting has got quite a lot of texture. It kind of didn't start off that way, but it was quite a big space to fill. And I wanted to give it something more kind of interesting to look at, sort of G it up a little bit really. So I'm going to try and pick up some of the shapes and some of the textures on this, but it's actually painted on a board, and these are really, really nice boards. I use these quite a lot actually, and I use them especially when I'm doing quite heavy textured paintings as well, like this. So I can plod quite a lot of paint on this. I'm not going to have the problem of like a sagging canvas or anything like that. And the other added benefit of these is that because you've got this recess on the back, once you've got your attachments on the back like that, your D-rings and your cord, it will actually hang quite flush to the wall as well, so it's not going to stand proud. So it gives it a nice kind of finish. But anyway, back to the painting. So for this particular one, as you can see, I'm going to try and catch the light here. Just got a bit of light coming in. You can see it has got a texture there that we're just picking up, and I created that texture using this stuff here actually. Now this is, I'm never too sure how you say this. I say gesso, but I think some people say gesso. I'm not too sure, so it probably depends where you come from, how you actually say it. And what it actually is, I'm pretty sure it's like a mixture of kind of chalk and paint together really. It's actually sold as a primer, which I guess is what it is really. So it's like an undercoat really. But more importantly, you can actually get it in different thicknesses. This is a fairly kind of average one, but you can get them thin or thick. Obviously the thicker stuff is what you kind of be interested in really. And basically the chalk kind of binds the whole thing together and gives it that texture. So when you pop that on the board like this, you whack it on there. I tend to whack it on either just straight from the tube or with a knife like this. So put a good old dollop on there and then spread it over like butter. So this is one of the knives that I might use to actually do that. Knives I use are not particularly expensive, to be honest. A lot of the things I do use tend to be on a budget, except paints and brushes. Paints, brushes and the actual canvas are the exceptions. But when I come to use things to create those paintings, I'll create, or you'll use anything kind of that's to hand. So what I'm going to be talking about today is especially my potato masher. Now I put my texture on using the gesso, spread it all over, and I've done kind of a lot of mucking around with the palette knife, trying to swish it into various kind of peaks and troughs and stuff like that. It just wasn't kind of working really. So in desperation, I come downstairs and I thought, oh God, there must be something in one of the drawers I could actually use. So that was on the side of the cooker, as it normally sits there. I just like the shape of it, to be honest. It kind of lends itself to a really nice kind of zigzaggy shape. It's probably not your average potato masher, actually. And I know in different countries you don't have these. You'll have for potatoes, you'll have like a ricer. I think in Italy you'll use a ricer to force the potatoes through, to kind of shred it basically. In the UK we tend to have these kind of things, so you'll mash your potato down like that. But I just loved the shape of this, a nice zigzag shape. So what I did, I put the gesso on all over it, really, really, really thick. And then I basically got my trusty potato masher and then just kind of embossed it into the actual shape. So you can actually see there, being a bit cack-handed doing this, but basically changing it around so you actually get the shape of the indents on there. And it just come out really, really well actually. So, you know, when you're doing paintings, you don't always have to invest in the most expensive stuff. Look at ordinary things that are around you. When I draw circles, obviously it hasn't got circles on it, but some of the other paintings I show later on, you'll see this is a very, very, very common shape in the circles that I use on paintings, because painting is not very big generally that I do, and this is just about a nice shape. Somebody said to me recently, "Oh, circles you probably use are like a compass, with a pencil and a sharp point like the old fashioned ones we used to use in school." No, I don't really, and I don't use those for several reasons. It's probably more flexible if you do use those, because obviously you can alter the shape, not the shape, you can alter the diameter or circumference, the actual circle that you're doing. I don't like the fact that you're always going to get that tiny, tiny pinprick in the middle where the pin of the kind of compass has gone, where you press that in to get that circle around the edge. And I know it's really petty, but I really can't stand things like that. I really don't want that to be visible on any painting. So I tend to come downstairs and I'll rifle through the cupboards, and these are my kind of go-tos. So this is it Tupperware? I lie, it's not Tupperware. It's IKEA. IKEA is a very good source actually for things like this. So kind of cheap and cheerful, and it doesn't really matter if you make a complete mess of it, because these are like quid for probably a couple, something like that. Yeah, so they work really well. This is another one, a favourite of mine I use for larger circles, which I'll probably get told off for using, because this is not IKEA, it's not Tupperware. This is by Guzzini, which sounds rather posh. I think I've got it in Milan or something, but it's just the right shape. It's nice and sturdy. So if I want a bigger circle, I'll use something like that, but I do have to make sure I wash it thoroughly, otherwise I get a slap. And yeah, and things like this, the old palette knives are really good. I found this actually in a shop a little while ago. We tend to use it goes under the coffee machine actually, just to rest cups and things like that on. But it's really, really good. And what I did was, not on this one, but on one of the other ones, I actually did the same thing, put loads and loads of gesso on here. And then I got this, because it's really kind of like a nice lattice, pressed it into it quite hard, and then kind of slowly peeled it off. Again, you get a nice effect. Or the other thing you can do is put it on a dry canvas or whatever your surface is, paint through the gaps, so either roll it, sponge it. Obviously, the bits through the gaps are going to come out underneath, so you can have lots and lots of tiny little squares. I tried that came out really well. And then I decided to do a negative of that. So then what I did then was I actually painted this. So I gave this a layer of paint and then pressed it on, and then obviously got the lattice effect all over the canvas or the board. So I'll show you that one in a second actually, where that come into play. But there's lots of ways you can use things like it's just everyday household objects. So always have a look in your cupboards, see what you've got. Hopefully it'll be something you can clean quite well, otherwise you're going to get told off. But yeah, just use everyday household objects around you, and there's lots and lots of different things. Like forks are quite useful as well, getting zigzag lines with forks. It's kind of infinite, really, infinite. I mean, even a cup, something like this, you could press right the way along, and you're going to get like almost like the Olympic rings kind of thing. You're going to get lots and lots of rings. And again, with the gesso, it's really nice because it actually stands proud. So anyway, so this tends to be more of a kind of a sort of that squarish kind of painting, this. So I underpainted it with like a yellow. Around the edges, I didn't actually go right on with the yellow. It's kind of slightly dotted with the yellow. I think I did it with a sponge actually. So it has got a slightly different edge to it. And then what I did, I picked up those peaks and troughs using different colours. So you've got like an aquamarine blue there on some of the ridges, and some reds as well, which is quite nice. And then what I did, I turned my old potato masher the other way, so we've got like a 90-degree angle just to kind of divide it into two. So there we go. So potato masher painting, that is it. So never be afraid to experiment. Always have a go. If you think that might work, chances are it probably will. So yeah, always be willing to explore, however silly it is. Always have a go. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. So thanks a lot for your time today. I hope you enjoyed that little weird explanation with my potato masher and other objects I use around the house. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And again, please consider subscribing, because it really does make a difference to me making these videos. And it's always good to hear from people. So if you get this far in the video and you want to make a comment, please do so, and I will get back to you. So I always reply to every single comment so we can interact, and you can give me your ideas and we can just exchange bits and bobs. So thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next video. You take care now.